What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to FBA Capital. And today I'm bringing you guys another weekly market breakdown on none other than NAS100. Without further ado, let's get right on into these charts. So first things first, we're gonna come to this higher time frame. And if you guys paid attention to last week's weekly market breakdown, this is the expectation that I had. I thought we were gonna potentially make a run for this fair value gap and clear this weekly high, which we did. We didn't come and fill this full fair value gap, but we did come close. And then we ended up having this drop to the downside, in which this is something I was anticipating. Even though we didn't have this full drop, this is still a target that I think price is more than likely going to come all the way down to. So as of right now, I'm going to keep everything. I'm going to keep nothing. And the only thing I'm going to keep is this area right here. Just like this. I'm going to keep this arrow and I'm going to keep this area because this is still going to be a big target that I'm looking for price to ideally come to. And as you can see, price is still at this area in which we had this break of structure to the downside. We could just be having a retracement to go higher because we still didn't make a run for this low right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to this weekly time frame. Get rid of this check mark also. And now that I'm on the weekly, I'm going to mark up the weekly highs and the weekly lows. Right here we have the weekly high. Then we got the weekly low. Boom. Then you're going to come down. Matter of fact, we're not going to come down. First thing I want you also to realize is look how the price and look how this candle is forming. We are forming a big wick right here. And why is that important to know? Because that's important to know for the fact that we ran this high up here and we ended up closing to the downside. So more than likely, what does that tell us? That there's a lot of bearishness. And if you look, 1, 2, 3 weeks already was bearish. So what's the likelihood of this one being bullish? It wasn't very likely. And as you can see, we are having a lot of rejection. So what do I think is more than likely going to happen? We're going to still continue to fall down to this 10,665 area. So now let's go down to the daily time frame. And now you can see here with the last 2 days were bearish. So what am I going to do? I'm going to be marking up this previous day's high and previous day's low. Previous day's high right here. Previous day's low right there. I'm going to mix this. This is the previous day's low. The one right here is going to be the previous day's high. What do I think is likely going to happen? If you look at this and look at based off of probabilities, I think price is more than likely going to potentially make a run for this low right down here. Why? Because this is a short-term low that I think price has more than likely been reaching for, which is also our weekly low. Why else? Because the last 2 days were also bearish, and we are continuing to move bearish, and we continued as bearish engulfings. And if you look at the weekly, we were extremely bearish. So if you look at the daily, what do I think is more than likely going to happen? Continuation of the bearishness. Where to? I say at least down to this weekly low. We could make a run for that 10,665 area that I was talking about, but that might not happen right away. We could come clear this weekly low and then have a push to the top side, maybe consolidate. Because keep in mind, right now we are in a big range. This is just a range as of right now. We got a few break of structures to the top side, but then we came down. We had a break of structure to the bottom side after we cleared this low, but then we came back up. So right now we're kind of ranging. So that's also something to keep in mind. Last week was NFP week, so that is why price had this big drop. But now we're going into the rest of October, we should have a lot of good setups to look for. So now I'm going to come down to the intraday time frame on the 15-minute. And now that I'm here, I'm going to mark up the previous day's high. Boom. We're going to have the previous day's low right here. We're going to mark up the Asian session range from the day before, which is going to be from Thursday. And why do I mark up Thursdays? I mark up Thursday's Asian range because when Friday closes, there is no Asian session yet. If you look over here, the Asian session starts at 18. If you look at the bottom, 18, and closes at midnight for me. That is my Asian range. And if you look where price closed, when the market closed, it closed at 16:45. And that just means the Asian session didn't start yet. So now looking at this, what do I think price is likely to do? If we're going to continue this bearishness, I think we're likely to have a retracement up into this Asian range potentially. And also I'm going to pull a fib from the previous day's high to the previous day's low. So from here all the way to here, we're going to pull our fib. Why from these? Because I like to draw in from previous day's highs to previous day's lows because it gives you a good area of where price is likely to retrace on a, what's it called? Daily perspective. And if you look, we have this fib mark lining up around a few big figure levels. So around this 300 to 400 area, I'm definitely going to be watching. And then we also have this 11,200 by the 38.20% level. So there's a few areas in which I think price is likely going to have reaction off of. So I'm going to be wanting to watch all of these levels. Now, mind you, I don't take trades on Sundays, so I'm going to watch how price opens. I'm going to watch to where see price wants to move. But in my opinion, I think we're going to have a push to the top side to either to 11,200 and then have a drop, or we're going to make a higher push to this 11,300 to 11,400 area before likely having a push. Why? Because I'm over higher time frame bearish, so I'm overall bearish. And intraday, I think we are extremely oversold. So I think price is going to need a retracement of some sort. And if you come to say the hour time frame or the 4 hour, we have this fair value gap right in here. And this is important because this fair value gap is right where this 11,400 and 11,300 area is. So if we come back to that 15-minute time frame, you can see how that fair value gap is within this area. So that is personally why I think that's going to happen. So based off this higher time frame perspective and intraday perspective on the 15-minute, this is what I personally think is going to happen this week with NAS100. Now, this is not a for sure thing. This is just personally what I'm expecting, and price could just melt when the market opens, and I'm gonna have to change my whole bias regardless. So with that being said, hopefully this video was helpful. Hopefully it was informative. I know it was a little fast, but it doesn't really need to be complicated. It's very simple. I look for very similar things every single day, and I just wait for the market to open so that I can then follow what the market is going to give me. So with that being said, appreciate everyone for watching. Stay tuned. Make sure you look at the links in the description to look at the Telegram if you're not in there, because I'm active in there daily and I'm sending my daily trades, and I'm also live in that Telegram with everyone else every single day. I also send everything there first, and that's where you can primarily reach me at 24/7. So hopefully you enjoyed this. If you did, like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next video.